All right, Kathys, we are back with another episode. It's Sunday night. Before we dive in, I wanted to share a couple things. So I went to a conference last week, and it was for WndrCo.
Yep.
WndrCo is a venture fund started by Jeffrey Katzenberg, and our good friend Anthony Saleh is one of the partners there. And they're actually an investor in Ghost as well. And so they had a conference, and to respect the confidentiality of the day, they really didn't want anyone to talk about it. But I'm going to give you a couple of takeaways. It was like a very small, intimate conference with ridiculous people.
Yeah.
So one was...
I saw the list.
Yeah. So the co-founder of OpenAI, Greg Brockman, was there.
Are you allowed to share that?
So... I don't know if I'm allowed to share that he was there, but I won't share the content of what he said.
Yeah.
But I will say, I love the guy.
Really?
Yeah. It made me...
Bullish on AI?
I'll tell you what it is. So there was a few of the guests that were there were founders, and a few were just CEOs. Like not founders, CEOs, but just CEOs. The CEOs were like your Indians. The CEO of Adobe, CEO of YouTube. And I'm going to comment on those people. But like the founders that spoke, specifically him and a few others, the thing that I loved about him particularly, like he's clearly not motivated by money.
Yeah.
I think he was like the third or fourth employee at Stripe. So he obviously has made gobs of money.
If he sold secondary.
I'm sure
everyone did.
Everyone did, right? And so I think like when you hear that why he's doing it and why him and Sam are doing it, I can't speak for Sam because I didn't hear him talk. I only heard this guy talk. I have like an enormous amount of faith now that what they're doing is actually for like the good of humanity. Whereas previously, obviously, if you listen to this podcast, I have not felt that way at all.
But I actually think it's twofold, right? So I think the fact that the board had no financial incentive and fired Sam means that they were very concerned about the safety of whatever they were pursuing.
So I think the key piece to it is...
So what is that? We still don't know.
Yeah. So I think the disconnect is, I don't think they technically understood the situation is the only rationale I can get. And I'll have to say that like listening to this guy talk, like he's not trying to harm society. Let me tell you, he just doesn't have that feeling.
No, I don't think anyone's trying to harm society. I think no one knows where the technology can go.
Yeah.
So everyone's really concerned about AGI, right? Basically, like we're gonna have machines smarter than humans.
Yeah.
And then what
right
happens,
now, I just got blocked by a Postmates stupid robot. So that's not happening anytime soon.
Is he smarter than you?
No, he's an idiot. He's in the middle of Wilshire. I'm going to mow his ass down if he keeps fucking holding me up in traffic. And all that's going to happen is one robot's dead and someone's food is ruined.
I do believe like we don't need to litigate what happened with OpenAI anymore because we've done it so many episodes. I think there's definitely concern about where AI is going, and it's happening so fast, and no one has kind of a graph like a
My only agreement and disagreement with that is I agree with that piece. The thing that Sujay said, who's a partner with at WndrCo, he was saying that if we stop, it doesn't mean the rest of the world is stopping.
I agree with that. 100%.
So
you can't stop.
You can't stop. So
you don't want China to have better AI than us.
Yes, exactly. So I think that's the real concern is that like you can't stop. And we so happen to have at this given moment, as always in technology, America always has the best. And when you have this like lead, where do you like recalibrate? Like, is it fine to keep going forward, but risk what else could happen? But the rest of the world doesn't give a shit.
No, the rest of the world doesn't. China's going to keep going, and they're probably doing way crazier stuff in AI than we are.
I don't think they're technologically more advanced. I think they're willing to take way more risks than we are because of social.
I think technologically, they might be.
Why?
I mean, look at TikTok.
No,
look
because
at
they broke
Pinduoduo,
rules with TikTok.
Shein, all these companies
They're-
are
there's
crushing
no-
us.
They're only crushing us because we allow them to crush us. TikTok and Shein is full self-harm in America's case.
You say its own goal, like in soccer terms, right?
Yeah.
Like,
that's all it is. You could have easily won both those battles. Shein was an easy one to win. TikTok was an easy one.
well, TikTok wasn't, right? Their algorithm's just better.
No, we brought down. No, look. If you think about this, after Cambridge Analytica, Zuckerberg was persona non grata and public enemy number one. Until he started breaking necks on the mat like 6 months ago, he was the most hated person in America. Now people love him because he fights.
Yeah.
And he can't even fight anymore.
No, he's
legs
got
broken.
his ACL
Exactly.
torn.
So my point is that like we are self-harming when it comes to things like that.
That's fair. No, I agree, but I do think there's so many talented engineers outside the U.S. that are working on all this stuff that we can't stop in the U.S.
I'm not saying that people aren't getting far.
It's
in
similar
the
like
rest of the
crypto,
world.
right? Like crypto's going to exist no matter what. So do you want to have crypto exist in the U.S. or are you just going to miss the boat?
No, I mean,
So, like,
if you look at if you think about it from that perspective, Coinbase, the American company, is surviving. All the foreign entities are screwed. And so maybe Coinbase and the American government were in cahoots the whole time to take everyone else down.
I hope so. I'm very financially incentivized.
Yeah,
by that.
but I'm just saying, like, I think there are a lot of risks that America is thinking about that the rest of the world is not. And so
you can't stop. No, I agree. You have to. I think regulators just don't need to rein it in as much as they probably think they do, but you do need to understand how it can get out of hand, and then you have to figure out how to regulate it globally.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
It's like you can't just shut down OpenAI. You can't shut down Microsoft. You can't shut down Google. You have to be like, okay, let's have a broader mind. Like, what do we do? Because now it's the new, in my opinion, it's a new nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
It's a new nuke. So
it might be better.
it might be better. So how do you think about that in a mindset?
Yeah, and what's interesting is like, I can't even say it because I don't want to blow up the guy's spot that was there. But if you think about historically, let's just take like NASA. It had nothing to do with the conference, but historically NASA, which was funded by the US government, spent, billions of dollars, and some of the most cutting edge technology came from going to the moon or, whatever, like going to space. And the United States government is not currently the cutting edge of technology anymore, right? The private sector really is.
Yep.
And I think that's like such an interesting dynamic where like 30 years ago, United States government was the most innovative place. Like early internet happened in the United States government. And all of the things that really pushed America forward is not the case anymore.
Yeah.
Right now, the government is really good at letting people in through the southern border. That's like the hot thing the government's good at.
You think so?
Yes.
I disagree, but sure.
But okay, so let's move on from that. Because the other thing I really wanted to touch on was I got to see all these Indian CEOs, everyone like posts Indian CEOs. I got to see them up live talking. I realized why they're all at the top.
Shut up and dribble?
There's an element of shut up and dribble, but the real element is it's a very rare occurrence where someone is so brilliant, shares a very moderate temperament, and an incredible communication skill. I think that is so inherent in so many of the Indian CEOs, particularly the ones that grew up in India and came here. Like the Adobe CEO's life story is so fascinating. Like he worked at Apple. He started at Adobe, like an acqui-hire in 1998, became CEO in 2007. He's been CEO for 16 years of a massive $250 billion company. And hearing him talk and the way he communicates, he doesn't get flustered. He doesn't get upset. He doesn't get, he just does not get, erratic at any point. And then on top of that, he's a very brilliant person. It's really hard to find that in America right now. Like if you think about most people from an emotional standpoint in America, go to a football game.
You were just there.
People are completely irrational.
How was the Rams game?
Yeah, I mean, I saw Browns people crying because they got blown out. They're irrational human beings. Cleveland sucks and they got blown out. So they're irrational.
I mean, they don't suck. They were 7-4 and now they're 7-5. But now the Rams,
as far as what I saw today, they suck.
Okay.
And so my point is that like how you react to that, like in America, when you lose, you show it. And I think something about those particular people.
So that's how they rise to the top, because they come in kind of with the humility that, hey, we're not going to rabble rouse. We're just going to be really smart and move up.
Yeah. And by the way, you're going to have.
I mean, that's what our dad did.
Yeah. And exactly. And like, by the way, you're going to have very tough decisions to make. You're going to have things that you're not going to agree with and be disappointed with. But how you react to that stuff. Most people get riled up and emotional and so crazy that like, I think it scares people. Like, think about it from a publicly traded company perspective. I get why now all these CEOs are Indian. You
So they're Indian from India that moved to America. They're not Indian homegrown.
Some of them are.
Who?
The CEO of YouTube, he's homegrown.
Well, YouTube's Sundar. I mean, Sundar's Google.
I know, but like this guy could be the CEO of Google one day.
They're not letting him.
You never know. I think the point is more around the fact that these people are very much like very moderate in the way with everything. Like their whole presence is about moderation. And if you're a publicly traded company, your board only cares about stability.
If you're that big, for sure. 100%.
You're not.
If you're like $1 trillion company, you're basically like, how do we just maintain?
I would argue if you're a $10 billion company, you grow 10, 20% a year and you're a $10 billion company, you're one of the best companies on earth.
Yeah.
So I think that is why these people are getting put in the place, because they're like, you don't want anyone to rock the boat. You don't need someone like the MicroStrategy CEO who's just like buying Bitcoin recklessly. His stock.
Do you know what Bitcoin's at?
I know, but I'm just saying, like, think about like if you're the board of that company, you're like taking an enormous amount of risk.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, no Indian is just buying cum coin and going to the moon. Like that's not happening also. So I think that's part of the magic of what's happening with those CEOs that I think that like you're not seeing anywhere in America today.
Yeah, that's potentially. Yeah, I mean, it's temperament, 100%. I think not overreacting to things and being able to just kind of weather the storm when your company's struggling or not struggling or having board conversations that they have confidence in you. And I agree, you have to have that temperament.
Yeah, and I think if you look at like even politics and a lot of places where you have high profile people, so many people have been torn down by a moment where you overreact. I don't know if you remember this when Howard Dean was running for president.
Of course, he screamed. Howard Dean screamed.
I'm in Florida. That was it. His whole career is over.
Yeah,
because he screamed loud after one of the primaries.
And they actually like amplified the volume. Like if you rewind back, this is like 25 years ago.
It became a meme.
Yeah,
early meme.
Yeah, it was the earliest political meme.
Yeah, and his career was over. You never heard from this guy ever again.
I have no idea what Howard Dean is doing right now.
Nothing. He's doing nothing. He got screwed because of one moment.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge of like overreaction, is that in this climate.
But can you counter that? Like, look at Trump. He keeps winning. And he's the most overreacting, like.
I know, but he doesn't stop at that. He's always overreacting. And so he will overreact to whatever he thinks the audience plays into. His overreaction is purely trying to get the audience to laugh, right?
He's a comedian.
He's a comedian. He sees what works and he keeps on double downing on what's working.
Okay, drama's here.
All right.
Sorry, I was late.
Yeah.
A little dinner, a little traffic.
Fairfax.
You know what's funny is I read your text.
Where was your dinner?
Just right by my house. There's a sugarfish right by where I live.
Oh, yeah, you love sugarfish.
Love it. But I read these texts. I took the mental note. I planned a separate route.
You just went straight
and then
down
I got in the car and I went straight down Wilshire. And I was like, oh, fuck. He just told us about it. So, listeners, there's an event on Wilshire and Fairfax, which isn't too far from where we record. And is it like a Christmas? What's going on?
I don't know. It's either like
street's blocked off.
It's like a fundraiser or something. It's, I think, the Academy of Motion Pictures.
Looked fancy.
Yeah. It's definitely like black tie. Very fancy.
Yeah.
Must be a fundraiser or something.
Okay. Strike's over.
Strike's over. So everyone's
partying again.
Just in time for holiday party season.
I mean, it's actually great because I think Oscars are in February.
Crickets.
It's all coming back.
Yeah, that's true.
We did a podcast, me and Amanda,
I saw that.
on Thursday or Friday, I forget.
Yep.
But anyways, it was a podcast about just raising awareness for epilepsy, and like a lot of people donated. So like very thankful for everyone who donated and posted. And we had an enormous amount of people that wanted to share the podcast, the story, everything. And it's not even as much about the money. It's more about the awareness that we care about. And what's like the platform that we have, we kind of underestimate.
Yeah.
Because forget the money that's being donated, and that's, amazing, incredible. And the awareness is incredible. A massive venture capital firm, top 10, reached out because of a friend that posted us and said, oh, I want to solve this. Like, here's like my biotech companies that I'm sending this to. Yeah. Can your neurologist talk to them? And I was like, of course.
Wow.
And like, that's insane.
Yeah.
And everyone shits on Silicon Valley, but Silicon Valley has this like, we're going to solve everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. You can't take that away from them. I think sometimes they just try to solve too much.
Fine. But the fact that someone that I have, and this is a firm that I have no connection to. Yep. It's through a friend. And it's not like one of my homies. It's like a massive firm. I'm not going to say the name.
Yep.
And they were like, hey, how do we help?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool.
That's the magic of those people.
It also just like, I don't know how to describe it, because I've obviously experienced it in different ways for a long time, but like when you put something out there like to the internet, maybe I'll take this route. There's a million routes to go. Like we talk a lot on this show, and I still feel this way about how bad the internet is, about how bad social media is.
Yeah.
And just how like misinformation and just polarization and all that shit. But what you just described could never happen.
No chance.
Any other way.
Yeah. If
and
you
like,
put it out.
That's so wildly powerful. Because it's not like you went out and you're like, okay, I'm going to go on a campaign for a year to try to raise awareness and money. And I'm going to dedicate my life to this. I'm going to go do speaking engagements. Like, I'm not discounting what you did, but you sat where we're comfortable here with your wife and just had an honest conversation. And that being able to resonate with so many people.
Yeah.
Like the power of that is so nuts.
Yeah.
It's trippy when you're the one sitting at the microphone and it's like, oh shit, people are listening for good or bad.
No, for sure.
I mean, obviously for me, I talk a lot of shit. So I get it in real life. People come up to me.
Yeah, but everyone likes it, right?
Well, they're just like, oh, I hate everything you have to say. I'm like, all right, whatever. You still fucking listening.
They're like, but I love you, man. I love you crazy guy.
No, but what's interesting from what I described is that this is, I mean, I don't know if you guys heard the interview. This is a massively unsolved problem.
Yeah.
And we need massive resources to solve the problem.
Well, that means there's also money to be made. So, and that's what motivates people.
And the Dr. Hussein made that very clear.
Yeah.
Like you can make a lot of money doing this.
Yeah.
So be financially incentivized.
Yeah.
And I think I was, of all the things that, obviously I'm very grateful for everyone who posted and donated. This was like the one thing I was like, whoa, this is crazy.
But it may have been because 25 people posted,
right?
That they saw it and they were like, "Oh shit, this is important."
Yeah. Well, props to you, because I think a lot of the, normal response when you're dealing with something like what you guys are dealing with would also be to like not talk about it.
For
Like,
sure.
You've been very open and honest and vulnerable about it, and you're getting rewarded for that, So props to you for putting yourself out there, and Amanda.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. I have nowhere near serious enough matter.
Yeah.
Like as Anand's, because this is like real life. This is just more of make me feel good if this happened.
Yeah.
I want to put out to the universe, USC needs like 4 good linebackers.
Linebackers? We need offensive linemen. We need D linemen.
Okay, well, let's start with 4 linebackers.
Why linebackers?
Like-
We're not even good on the front end.
I mean, I need 4 linebackers.
Yeah.
So where are you going with this?
I'm just putting it out in the universe.
What's Caleb,
Maybe
quarterback?
someone from Silicon Valley goes, I want to solve this guy's problem.
Yeah.
This guy is suffering because USC is so shitty.
You need one of those college admissions. You'll just go pluck some high school
where's
star.
Springer?
We plucked some.
Yeah.
You know what's insane? I saw that we plucked like an Ivy League D lineman in the portal. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Ivy
You got to start
League?
faking. Go to where
I
they're
don't want
hungry.
anyone from the Ivy League touching the
No.
Coliseum floor.
Go to some hungry high schools.
Yes.
Where the next star is.
Yeah.
And fucking take a photo of him playing water polo and get him over to USC.
So we watched college football. I think D and I did. I don't know if you did.
I
but
didn't.
We
This
watched the
weekend?
last a couple days, like Friday, Saturday, and
What are the ratings? Fucking 85 million.
yeah, 85 million. I don't even know what the ratings are, but we don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
These teams are so good.
Yeah.
Who's
I mean,
the best?
were you watching
Alabama.
Yeah.
Did Alabama? It was Alabama, Michigan. Who did Michigan play?
So Michigan's going to play Alabama,
Got it.
and Washington's playing.
We have 2 Michigan students here live.
Wow.
Wow. Jack and
They
Joey
don't
here
look like
from
football
Michigan.
players. They don't.
You're still growing.
Got it.
I'm sorry, Alabama's smoking you guys.
Whoa.
Yeah, your favorites, but you can't bet against Saban. He's got like coaches that are paid millions and millions of dollars. They're
Michigan's favorite?
Michigan's.
Wow. Good for you guys.
Rose Bowl.
I'm still.
I love like I just love football.
The drama is
It's
so
just-
good. Like the sports shows tomorrow morning on Monday morning
Yeah.
are going to be insane.
Yeah.
Because Florida State, who's undefeated.
Which hurt my feelings that they
You were very big FSU.
They
Yeah.
lost?
No, they won
Uh-oh.
and they didn't make it to the playoff. So they
Oh.
ran the table, and a 1-loss Alabama team made it
That's
over them.
wild. It's so wild how that works. Like I don't get how it works, but like the fact that it's that harsh.
Yeah, I understand if you're like a diehard fan, whatever, like you're obviously sad. I just like how good,
The controversy.
particularly in football,
Yeah.
they figured out how to make everything so dramatic.
Yeah. Like basketball, all I know is that LeBron doesn't even fucking play for the first 80% of the season. And then he shows up and is like, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to the finals.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? And last year, everyone was like, oh, the Lakers are trash.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they make a couple trades and it's like, they might win the finals. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
So I don't
It's
don't
good.
understand the football structure, but it seems way more exciting.
But yeah, I think they've made it a great, like, it's a drama.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you guys, the way you talk about it, and obviously the ratings show.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ratings
Tell me
obviously
you're
show.
doing mid-season tournaments in basketball. You don't need that in football.
Crickets.
Yeah. All right, can we talk about going to fuck yourself?
All right, let's go.
Let's go to Elon.
Have we talked about it yet?
We have not
yet.
gotten there.
Okay, so, New York Times. I would officially like to say that I think you like him, right? On it. I think Andrew Ross Sorkin
I love him.
is a clown.
So,
that's my take.
So why?
Wait, hold
I
on.
have a
Hold
couple
on.
take. I have a couple reasons.
Okay,
Andrew
I
was.
know
I'm
the
watching.
Olin guys just dunked on him.
I didn't listen. I think he's a clown on my own.
Yeah.
I'll tell you 2 reasons. Only 2 reasons.
So I watch him every morning because I get
Because it's
to work.
5:30 in the morning.
It's 5:30.
Oh, he does a
so I
show?
watch him.
He does a show?
That's a show.
Yeah, that's a show. So I'm either at home working out and I'll see it, or when I'm traveling, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
And so I've seen him a lot. And Joe Kernan, I think, is the co-host of it. Joe Kernan's an old school guy.
He's been around since we were in high school.
yes. Oh yeah, easily since like the 90s.
He's a host, another host?
Yes, he's the older host.
Looks
on the,
great.
And he's very like black and white, practical dude.
Yep.
and they go at each other
Got it.
all the time.
Yeah.
And I think during COVID and Trump, it basically became like they're two sides. Not to say one's Trump, one's liberal. It just, that's how.
Like Skip and Kenny or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Right.
Just
Didn't they used to
became that type of dynamic. And yeah, he's annoying as fuck.
He's annoying as fuck. Here's my two reasons. Let me get my two reasons off.
Why? Because I actually
Listen, he's trying to give.
Number
You
one
asked
reason-
why,
I'm
now you're
asking
talking.
why.
Number one reason.
You can't talk.
Number one.
Why? Because
I just cold plunge.
Tell me now if you don't tell me. Okay, number one reason why is in a sea of good hosts. Like now we see the Rogans and we see that these different people that are just great conversation hosts. It really stands out how robotic and like lame his interview was. Now I know that's not the style, it's New York Times and blah, blah, blah. But it's just like, it feels like you're trying to be so like formal and by the book when this guy's giving you gems.
Yes.
And being so open
Honest.
and just off the cuff, which is so risky for him. So how is it risky for Andrew?
It's not risky for Elon. It's worth $250 billion.
Well, I mean,
He
it
can
might,
say whatever he
sink,
wants.
it might literally sink Twitter.
It
It
probably
could.
is.
That's a risk. You know, I would call that a risk. I'm sure he doesn't want that to happen. But here's my point. So you're doing that. This guy's giving you content gold. That
Sorry, don't mean to interrupt. I know I have interrupted a lot.
Okay, go. This better be good because I just want to. I'm just gonna be quick.
Because Joe Rogan answers to no one. He's his own boss.
Right.
All the other people you're talking about answer to no one.
Right. I don't care why he's a clown. He's a clown.
Sorkin answers to a boss.
Right.
I
That's
know,
the
but
reason why. Maybe there's a
doesn't
reason why.
mean he's
Either way,
right.
and I don't care why you put on the clown nose. You got a clown nose
What's
on.
the clown nose? So
the
tell me
clown
about
nose
it.
is I think he's a terrible. Like he was trying to be all. It was like
He was trying
it was
to be
like Elon went to the
condescending.
principal's office.
Yeah.
And he was like, so why? And then he would not, it was just a terrible, like he wouldn't engage. He wouldn't get better content. Now, Elon gave that entire New York Times deal book, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, the biggest
a
ratings of
boost.
all time.
Not only him, but I personally went and watched 3 other interviews
Yeah.
just because I was already on the page.
Yeah.
So I watched Bob Iger and fucking whatever.
Yeah.
Hi,
I
Bob.
never would have touched that. Hi, Bob. And I think he's a horrendous interviewer. I think he's the epitome of like
Wow,
the.
I
He's
strongly
MSM
disagree.
all the day.
He's
I strongly
MSM.
disagree.
He's an
to the
MSM piece
fucking
of shit.
I actually
MSM
strongly
shill.
disagree.
Okay,
I
now
actually
here's my
think
next
he's
thing.
incredible.
Here's my next thing. It's very exact. Is when Elon first they started the conversation. He said something about you're a very controversial. Like this interview is gonna be very polarizing. But this motherfucker interviewed a person who just got convicted to like 100 years in prison. The scam artist of the century, Sam Bankman-Fried, and barely even. Why don't you sit there and say, well, I'm pretty much interviewing the new age Bernie Madoff.
Yeah.
So this is a really controversial. You say that against the guy that's fucking building tunnels and flying to Mars and building electric cars. That's the controversial interview. But you're going to host this fucking, he's just the epitome. He doesn't even know that because he's so MSM, you know, fucking wokey dork.
Yes.
No,
And that
He's a
pissed me
wokey
off.
dork.
He's a
No.
wokey
So
dork. He follows the line. He gets the email every
problem.
morning.
Did you listen to All In yet?
No.
They had Tucker on.
I know that.
I
I know
can't
that.
wait.
And I was so.
Okay, so I'm on a lot of planes
I
this
know.
week.
I was
So
so
listen to
excited.
it.
Listen to so they dunked on Sorkin the
He's a
same way
clown.
that you just did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
I'd take
I
Tucker.
saw,
Put Tucker up there.
and they literally didn't challenge him on anything. The Sultan of Science, Friedberg,
Yeah. I have to listen.
and Tucker was like, climate change is nonsense. And Friedberg didn't say shit.
Maybe he believes that.
maybe
But
he's changed his mind.
he was like, oh, and Jason was the only one that actually tried to push back on
Yeah.
anything. Like, if they want to be this honest, like, news outlet,
Right.
similar to where we try to be,
Right.
they ended the episode and were like, this guy's amazing. This guy, they didn't challenge him on any of the
Yeah.
QAnon shit he did, any of all the stuff he does to play character of like this crazy right-wing person, which
He
he plays a character. He's a fucking smart dude.
I feel like
He
he's kind of
knows.
bailing on that character, though.
What's that?
This is my reading of the pulse of Tucker Carlson. I think he's like bailing on the far right I didn't really watch his old stuff, but I've seen him on Theo Vaughn. I've seen him on some of these things.
He's
and like,
bailing on the character.
He's going to become
becoming his own character.
Massive. He already is, but like huge.
But I thought it was so like these guys obviously don't do it for money. They're all billionaires and whatever. They're very successful. I was really disappointed in the way they handled that interview.
Well, we'll talk. I'll tell you my thoughts on that once I watch it. But
I gotta listen to it. Yeah,
but let's just go take them out of it.
Sorkin's still a puss.
He's a puss.
He has a boss.
Who's his boss?
But either way, he's
CNBC.
But the thing is
Bob
this,
Pisani.
then Aaron Sorkin, then Andrew Sorkin,
Pisani.
if you're so good, then stop and start a financial
did you watch the
podcast.
interview?
Which one?
He was shocked the way Elon went. He didn't know what to do.
You're in a conversation.
You're in a live conference.
I know, but I'm just saying.
I know, but it's Elon Musk. He doesn't give a fuck.
I know Elon doesn't. But Sorkin has to okay, wait, let me get my corporate hat on.
Exactly. That's what I hate.
That was the mistake.
Like all the data, if we want to go by data, all the data proves loud and clear, no one gives a fuck about your corporate hat.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
CNBC ratings are in the toilet.
He's the reason it's in the toilet. He's one of them.
Yeah.
He's one of the just technically, you can't really say GFY to Bob Iger. Like fucking lean in. Yeah. Have a conversation.
Just be like, so
I think
fuck Bob Iger?
Yeah.
Bob, where are you at?
Bob,
fuck
is
you.
Bob here? Bob, what do you got to say? Any hand gestures you want to shout out?
So
we got a middle finger
can we
from
actually
Bob
think
Iger.
about? So Elon obviously doesn't care. He's worth $250 billion.
Yeah.
But he has shareholders and debt holders to Twitter that are bailing because of his comments.
Not his shareholders and debt holders. His advertisers are bailing.
The shareholders and debt holders lose because the advertisers
Okay, so
are bailing.
this is what's going to happen.
Yeah, right, but they're not bailing.
I know,
they're not
but-
saying we're out.
No, they have no
Advertisers.
choice.
Yeah, and they're obviously sad. Elon's financial guy is going to come in and say, all right,
He's just going to make
Blackstone, here's Starlink IPO.
here's XAI.
Here's XAI.
Yeah.
Go make $20 billion. Shut the fuck up.
But don't you think if you write that check, when he bought Twitter, he was wild.
Wild.
No, everyone just was in the business of getting into the next IPO of
Right, so
Elon.
I mean, if I was a billionaire, I would have written a check to get in that.
course.
I
You know,
want that Starlink.
Isn't this exactly what you kind of expected to happen?
There's
there? If you wrote that
unlimited
check?
demand for every Elon business.
Exactly.
And I think
And every Elon interview, and he blew it.
No. I think it's going to be.
I think Sorkin
by the
did great.
Skin of his teeth, but I think that this makes Twitter and everything. This is like the smoking the weed on the Rogan show. The stock crashes for a second, and then he's bigger than ever and more popular than ever.
Yeah.
The way the internet, I think that opinion of his of fuck these woke advertisers. I didn't even say. Look, the guy apologized and also clarified what he meant.
Yes.
And what he actually meant was not anti-Semitic. And he also went to Israel and if you say, I'm sorry, I realize that came off wrong, but this is what I meant, and it's not anti-Semitic, how can you still...
By the way, I had this discussion with my own friends who were obviously very upset with him when he came off anti-Semitic. And I was like, look, the guy put the work in. He went there. He learned the situation.
Yeah.
He changed his opinion.
He apologized multiple times in that interview.
And do you accept him at that point?
Yeah.
Right?
How does he have the bandwidth to do all this?
I have no clue.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I read his book. He's eating cheeseburgers and taking Ozempic.
Well, I mean, yeah.
He looked a little chubby.
He might have got off the Ozempic. Kept with the cheeseburgers.
Well, you can still not lose weight with Ozempic. I know.
You eat enough
I know
cheeseburgers.
someone that has not lost a pound off
You could probably,
Ozempic.
you know what would be a funny jackass skit is I'm going to take Ozempic and try to still gain weight. How much does it take?
I saw someone a mutual friend that's on Ozempic by the Run Club. He looked great.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
It's a miracle. I mean, I don't know what the side effects are, but damn it works.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just think, I don't know, man. Look, if nothing else, let's not all try to be, and I respect the other take, but let's not all try to be all proper and fuck.
No, but
The
I
guy
think
is
that's a problem,
nonstop
right? Like,
blockbuster action.
no, but Sorkin is from traditional media, and I agree. It's like why Pat McAfee works
Right, but it's like saying I'm from Blockbuster.
and Portnoy
Good for
works.
you, but it's failing.
yeah.
So stop fucking.
You have to have all media needs to be Portnoy, Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
You just talk
And here's what I
and
will
be
say
entertaining.
is even like I don't listen to his content, so I don't want to. I hope I'm not saying anything fucking crazy here. But just from a business perspective, what Tucker is doing is the blueprint for being on mainstream
The
media.
new one. The
Yeah.
new Tucker.
Yeah. Is being the blueprint for being on mainstream media, not having a home there, not having the kind of symbiotic relationship, leaving. And I don't know what his income is. It's probably not the same, but being bigger than ever, the income will catch up.
Income will come
He's
in a few
bigger
years.
than ever as opposed to his, as it comes to his actual craft getting seen by people. And I just think it just showed in that interview because Andrew did really well with like Bob Iger because they were both bullshitting each other in corporate lingo.
Yeah.
It was just like, yeah, you want to
Let's circle back.
you bullshit. Let's all circle back and fucking check with our shareholders. But you have here a loose cannon content fucking gold machine, and you're like, no, seriously, Elon. I mean,
And by the way,
Wait, hold on.
Yep.
When he did the go fuck yourself, what would you want Sorkin to say? Because I've watched it. All he said was like, hey, don't you have shareholders? And
no, I would
people-
lean into it. So like, okay, let's dig deeper. You want them to go fuck themselves. Why?
But why do you consider it blackmail? They were offended.
Yes.
You're
Okay.
accusing them of blackmail.
no, but what's your question? Sorry.
No,
That's the story.
I'm
That's how
leaning
he's
in.
playing it.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to lean in. I'm trying to like get more of that magic. He said, "You're gonna blackmail me with money? Go fuck yourself." I would say, "You feel like you're being blackmailed?
Yeah. Is that
You're
how you
gonna
feel?
get 10 more gems." They're gonna say, so you feel like Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, is currently blackmailing you?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself. You just have nonstop.
Yeah.
But instead, he kept doing this tone of like, "Come on, can't we settle that? Let's be more proper here."
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the difference between him not being Joe Rogan and having a bot.
No, but I think
And
if
that's
he
why
had,
Joe
if
Rogan's
he had
bigger
gone
than-
rogue on this, I don't think he would have been punished because he would have gotten blockbuster ratings.
Yeah, all they want's clicks.
Yeah. What does NBC care about?
It's literally like Trump. Like, I don't know how these people reconcile this in their brains, or maybe there's someone at the top who stands to gain who actually doesn't care. But like the left media leaned into the Trump ratings, and in my opinion, really, really helped get him elected, which was technically exactly what they didn't
Opposite.
want.
Yeah, of
right?
course. Yeah.
And I think that like you're doing that with Elon too. Everyone, like the super lefties and the AOCs, claim to hate Elon. But you know he carried that whole fucking summit when it comes to clicks.
Yeah. There was no one watching that.
You know
If it
they're
was-
inviting him to the next one. If they did one in 1 month.
yeah.
By the way, great timing because the Cybertruck was delivering the same week, which is why he did it.
He's so...
He knew Elon's no different than when Brad Pitt has a movie coming out.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to show up everywhere.
Yeah. It's
And
just wild.
Elon had been quiet. He started showing up. He podcasts,
Yeah. Yeah.
TV shows, conferences, and then boom, the Cybertruck drops. And we talked about it last week. Cybertruck is the equivalent of an iPhone dropping. Steve Jobs' iPhone dropping. Because Tim Cook iPhone droppings, no one
Crickets, yeah.
no one cares. But I saw a Cybertruck maybe a few months ago, and then I saw two. I think one.
You've seen one in person?
Yes, on Sunset.
Wow.
I saw Rivian. They look dope.
Rivians are great. They're everywhere. But I saw the Cybertruck. It was a matte black one that's in the neighborhood, and everyone was looking at it. It was like you had a 10-foot dick,
Sure.
and
So
this
it's
car,
at 60, 80, 100K? That's what I heard.
60, 80, 100. Yeah, that's like the price. The 60,000 doesn't come out till I think 2025. Basically the $80,000, $100,000 cars will be available early next year. This car, I'm telling you, is going to be, pickup trucks are the number one cars in America. Pickup trucks.
America.
America.
There's
Let me tell
So
you.
you think like a Texas steak eating
I think a Beverly
potato guy is
Hills
gonna
girl is going to be driving a Cybertruck.
I think a Texas one, yes. Like a West Virginia one, no. But I think like the impact of like the Joe Rogan,
Yes.
bow hunting, fucking new Texas. I think those motherfuckers are driving Cybertrucks.
Right, bulletproof.
I mean, Joe's gonna have one, obviously.
The video
Joe
of it
probably
out
has one right
racing
now.
a Porsche 911.
Towing a Porsche 911.
Yes, towing a Porsche. It's it. That's like the epitome of like
Just
how the
strength.
middle of the country feels.
Just like, yeah,
like your
I'm
pussy small dick car.
Yeah.
We're gonna race right by it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tow your dick too.
I'm towing your 911 and your dick. Strap it on.
Yes, exactly. That's what when I saw that, I was like, because Porsche 911s are historically known as a small dick car.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know
I
my
think
friends who
Porsches-
listen have Porsche 911s. Sorry.
The Porsches are
And you know they
for
have small
bitches.
dicks?
Yeah. And
I-
so, go ahead.
Go. No, you go.
Yeah.
I was just gonna make more dick jokes. You go. You go. The moment passed.
But I do think this car is a pivotal moment in technology. I don't think it's just in automobile history. I think in technology, this car will be a very momentous shift where the brand of Tesla and then more importantly, the shift to EV, like you gave people who would never buy an EV a reason to buy it.
Yeah.
This is a stronger, better, faster car.
Yeah.
Then okay, fine, I'll buy it.
I just don't get. I mean, I'm sorry. I know I sound like an Elon fucking fanboy, but like, I just don't understand how you can hate the guy. Like, he's just absurd. Like, we're just so lucky to even be able to like have such
His presence
absurdity.
is charity.
It literally, it's just like this fucking guy tells Bob Iger to fuck himself and has Joe Rogan shooting a bow into his car, and then, but also is like, you know, just launched 7 rockets last week, and like,
And he's in Israel.
yeah, just going to Israel and fucking wearing a dog tag of all the hostages and not taking it off until they like. How can you not?
He also said, "You don't want my mind." He said his mind's fucked.
Yeah,
He said that, and it was at the
he said
Sorkin
it to
interview?
Lex Friedman,
Lex Friedman.
and then Andrew asked him about it.
Yeah, he's like, "My mind is terrible. You
Yeah.
don't want to be me."
But there's so much there.
I think he's
that
also
Andrew
like
just
mad
bailed
horny.
out of.
That's probably why his mind.
And but where are
His
the
what?
6 kids?
What'd you say?
Like,
I think he's mad horny. That's why you don't want his mind.
but
Well, whatever's
Between
happening-
rockets, he's just thinking crazy shit.
Whatever's happening, I think
I
you
mean,
can bet on
I
that.
agree.
He's
the,
definitely
the
fucking.
productivity
Yes.
of Elon.
There's no doubt. Rocket launch, fucking.
Yeah, but when you read
Cybertruck.
So how do you reconcile this? I'm actually going to ask both of you this.
Yeah.
What?
Actually, your father,
Yeah.
he has 6 kids.
Yeah.
He's clearly not spending any time with his kids.
So I think the way that I think about it is like every person makes their choice in life.
He might
What
have
is important to you?
Yeah.
I don't think, I'm not going to say his kids are not important to him, but it is not his top priority. And I think, let's say he has 6 children.
I think minimum 6.
Okay, let's say he has 10, right? He'd probably have 30 when it's all said and done. I think 50% of his children will appreciate for who he is and be like, damn,
one already
my
checked out.
pops was Elon.
One already hates him.
I think half his kids are going to hate his guts.
Yeah.
And be like, he wasn't there for
It's
me. He
not bad.
wasn't
There's more
present.
kids that like their dad than most families.
Yeah.
If he ends up with 4
Yeah.
that like him
Yeah.
more than most families,
Yeah. Look, yeah. I mean, if you just walked around America and
Yeah.
said, do you like your dad?
You just gotta
By the
play
way,
the odds.
I've always said this. Mother's Day, can't get a reservation anywhere in the country.
yeah, Father's
Day,
crickets.
every restaurant's open.
Yep.
You want to get the hottest restaurant? Book a reservation on Father's Day.
That's true. That's true.
So I think Elon's par for the course or a father.
Yeah.
You really think so?
Yes.
I think that
I think
Elon.
most people hate their fucking dad.
I think Elon is a better dad than. I don't know. I mean, he's probably
I think he's
better than 50%
Yeah, I agree.
of really busy.
50%. Why would you say that? What's your basis?
It's
dads go
the
bad
book-
really fast.
the
You know
book
how
they
bad
talk about
dads
it a
are,
lot.
right?
They talk about it a lot in
The
the book.
bottom quartile of dads are the worst people.
I'll give
on
you a
earth.
story from the book. Is he really wants to figure out the solar panels for the Sun
Sure.
City or whatever, and so he last minute makes everyone go down to this house and try to install and see how long the install takes or whatever. And the whole time, his son, I think X, is like climbing around on the solar panels, and the author's kind of commenting on how he lets his kid, like he has like a free range kid, he lets him climb around and whatever. But like he's there yelling at everyone, trying to keep it in line, and the kid is there, at least that one, the newest one at the time, climbing around it. So I don't think he's completely absent. There's a lot of stories in the book of like, and then he went back to his little trailer and spent time with his
I
kids.
know for a fact he has shown up to parent meetings at a school in LA.
That's more than a lot of dads.
Yes,
at
that's
that
what I'm
school.
saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's more than a lot of like successful people,
Yeah, that's what I
think-
mean. That's what I mean.
right?
I'm
Like,
when I say 50%, I mean of
like people that have
high output people,
yes,
let's say.
because
But there's probably like piece of shit dads who are not showing up to anything.
Yeah, that are like bankers.
I don't know. Like you're super involved with your children. I'm super involved with our children, and we all show up. We can't go to Israel
I'm not putting rockets or landing.
We can't just go to Israel on a whim.
But one of the kids might have went to Israel.
Yeah.
That's fair.
They're like
If
with
a
it.
kid was on Israel,
But either way, I don't want to act like I'm trying to like advocate
By the
for
way,
him
if I had
also
a
being a great dad. I
Business
don't know.
Boeing jet, my kids would be going to Israel.
They go everywhere.
Like, yeah, whatever, come, let's go.
I agree. Get a Boeing business jet.
My only point that I'll stand by is even if you think he's like a douche or like kind of arrogant or like whatever, I just don't get how, like now that Steve Jobs is gone or Einstein, like we
Who's
read
left?
we read books, yeah, right. We read books and we're like, wow, what it must have been like, what they were like, and what they did. Like you have one.
Yeah.
This guy is fucking crazy.
I always felt like
Everything is
that about
blockbuster.
athletes growing up, where I would hate a particular athlete
Yeah.
because they weren't on my team
Yeah.
that I liked. And then they retired, and then I got older. And I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
I could have gone to see that person play.
Yes.
I could have seen them. And I'm just like, was this angry, bitter bitch?
Yeah. Like who's Elon hurting?
Nobody.
Like you don't hear of like wild, constant complaints of like terrible working conditions and like,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, and I think that's the problem is that like we can't get out. It's the same. I like to compare it to sports because there's athletes that people hate. Like, for example, conservative people hate LeBron.
Yeah.
Right? They hate him.
Yeah.
And you go see this guy play. It's like I was watching a highlight before I came. He's the oldest guy in the NBA.
Yeah.
He had a 360 layup yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, man, this is so cool. Like at this age to perform at this high level.
Yeah.
But some guy would be like, oh, when he talked about BLM, I'm never going to. I don't subscribe to that fact. Like,
Yeah.
I think you have to be able to separate like who they are politically or whatever their opinions are versus their craft. And in Elon's case, his craft is kind of like, it is I would argue that Steve Jobs, incredible genius, built one of the most amazing companies ever.
Yeah.
Steve Jobs is not Albert Einstein.
Yeah.
I would say that is the comp for Elon.
Albert Einstein.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Steve Jobs.
I think the difference is Steve Jobs built the iPhone. Elon built rockets, Neuralink, Boring Company, Starlink, Tesla.
And
I
to, like,
said
not,
Tesla,
like,
the last
to-
one. That's the most valuable one.
Exactly. So to like that little stat he dropped of like, I am arguably
The most
the
valuable
single
person in
most
climate.
impactful person to climate. Like that's absurd just as it is, right? Like probably true, I guess, by whatever metric. That's a crazy accomplishment. But also he like created the private space industry and he, with a goal of getting humanity to Mars, he figured out how to make a sustainable business model in order to fund.
Yeah.
Like, it's just same with LeBron. Like, I could see if you didn't like Dwight Howard because of his political takes, right? Because I mean, I get it, he's great, but it's Dwight Howard. When it's LeBron, like you gotta respect it at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think that's my challenge is that like you have to like his views have to be separated from what he's done for humanity.
I agree with that because I disagree with a lot of things Elon says,
Yeah.
but
But did you watch the Deal Book interview
yeah.
in full?
Not in full clips. I'll be
Like,
honest.
aren't you just thankful that like it's just such good entertainment?
It's great entertainment, but
Like, it's
I
like, who the fuck is this guy? This is crazy.
I have so many conversations with people that we're all just like, I can't believe he's doing this, that,
Yeah.
the third. Like it's just
And showing up in the Johnny Depp lawsuit because he's fucking Amber Heard sneaking in Johnny Depp's elevator. Are you shitting me?
What drugs is this guy on?
I don't know, but I want some. It's like Limitless.
Whatever he is,
It's like that Bradley Cooper movie or whatever
yeah.
it's called.
we both have 2 kids. Like can't even wake up. Like
I know you do
refreshed.
one cold plunge and that's all you can take
you're
after
gone
a
for a
full
week.
day with the kid.
I did cold plunge where I got here.
Yeah.
Just to wake up for this.
Yeah, I thought it was, when I saw that interview and then I watched some of the other ones, they have like Kamala Harris on there and fucking Bob Iger's being so like PC. I watched
The problem is
Jamie
Bob
Diamond.
Iger probably is like relatively good, but in this climate, you're not.
No, he's old school good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched
He's
Jamie
old school
Diamond. He
good.
was very old school good. But they were like, what do you say about all the business you do in China and banking China and blah, blah, blah. And it was just very like, I don't set U.S. foreign policy. And if the government tells me to stop, I'll stop. But it's just like,
Yeah, come on.
cool, man.
You don't
Like,
have an opinion?
Yeah. And
Because in private doors, when Jamie's 342s deep,
you know what he's not saying.
when
that.
he's in the goddamn China.
Yeah. Rack it up. I'll move
He's
to
in a
Hong Kong.
karaoke room in China. He's just very different.
Yes. And I feel like with Elon, that's probably very close to exactly what he's saying.
I think that's an amazing point because Elon is so financially free that he's not beholden to anyone, right? So we're at 250 billion. He knows Tesla's incredible because he didn't talk like this 7-8 years ago.
But what's funny is Elon is actually beholden to a lot of people.
Yeah. Technically
Like,
is.
The government could regulate and fucking make his life such a nightmare that he can't launch a rocket. They could, like, there are so many, I mean, he is constantly battling lawsuits and SEC investigations and all
Sure.
and like not getting invited to the EV summit and not being like, he just fucking has no problem making life really difficult for the sake of a hot interview, I guess. Here's the last thing. I think the one thing I like, sorry to cut you off, is we know how people actually talk.
Yep.
In these meetings. And if you don't know that, you watch all these interviews and you might go to, even if you're lucky enough to go to Harvard or any of these schools, and everything's so fucking formal. And you're like, okay, that's the way. You gotta, how do I speak? And it's just not real.
What's funny
is bullshit. And
It's
I
a
just feel like it's
steakhouse.
from the
Steakhouse talk.
Yes. And I feel like you're getting from the richest man ever the real tone.
Here's the thing. I've been fortunate the last couple of years. I'm in the craziest room.
Yeah.
If you're not down with locker room talk,
You're out.
you're out.
You're out.
They're not giving anyone. If you're not like if you got offended,
Yeah.
the shit I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that doesn't get less the higher up you
But
get.
how-
It gets
it
more.
gets more.
You know who the most polite people are in private? Like the
But don't
junior
you think?
staff.
Don't you think podcasts have kind of helped expose people to this like new world?
No, because here's the thing: is the difference is if you're, let's say, middle class, middle management, you are not allowed that flexibility of speaking freely. You would get fucking destroyed if you spoke how you're supposed to that you want to speak. The problem is you have to like suck it up for a decade, 2 decades. Then you get to the boardroom and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, everyone's just.
But the only difference is the executives can do it in the boardroom, whatever, behind closed doors, but in the office. The middle management is still doing it. They're just doing it at the bar afterwards with each other. Everyone's fucking doing it.
Yeah.
And it's like,
But do you think?
I think you're kind of right on it. I
Yeah,
think that
'cause
social media
Yeah.
has sort of showed the real, like just a little bit.
But
Not
it just
a
pissed,
lot.
But
'cause
the
people
social media piece to it, it pissed people off that's how people still talk.
No, but I mean, I think it's why
Yeah.
Joe Rogan's still the biggest podcast.
Yeah.
Because people talk very freely on his podcast.
Yeah.
Because even, forget Elon, like even our own close friend, John Turgeon, went on Joe Rogan and talked about how bad the lockdowns were and the fact that he wouldn't let outdoor dining and how ridiculous that was and how they had LA officials show up at their venues to shut them down.
Yeah, I think that's definitely helped. But I think that, I don't know, man. I just think it feels, everyone talks about like democratizing, Robinhood's going to democratize finance. Everyone needs a chance. And in a weird way, I know that I'm
Nobody needs a chance.
I know I'm taking a roundabout way here, but I think seeing the richest man ever on paper or at least whatever, talk like you and your buddies do just makes it feel more attainable. Like it just feels more human as opposed to always this like, oh, they're different than me. They're better than me. You hear Bob Iger and Jamie Dimon talk, you're like, I'll never be that. You hear Elon talk, you're like, I could be the richest guy in the world, maybe. I fuck with that guy.
By the way, Bob Iger,
was actually
fuck yourself.
that was actually one of my biggest disappointing parts of the All In podcast with Tucker. You guys listen.
Yeah.
That they just were what you claim Sorkin is, and they have no, stake in the game.
Yeah. I gotta listen.
They were just like, oh yeah,
Maybe they agree. Maybe they agree.
Tucker.
Maybe they agree.
no,
But
but
if you
they-
agree,
no, they didn't.
Was Tucker saying wild shit?
No, he didn't say anything, but they didn't challenge him on anything.
but they
and they're
may
supposed to be
agree
the-
with his opinions. That's different.
All three of them, or all four of them.
I gotta listen.
You gotta listen.
Yeah, we have to listen. All right, let's get to some more news. 64% of men say this is their number one dating red flag. Can you believe what this is?
64%. Hold on, let me try
I think it's the Android green bubble.
That's
Wow.
yours, okay?
Okay,
What's yours?
64% of men. So this is something wrong with women.
You're in this world.
I'm a man.
No, your game is all about this world.
I know, but like I'm trying to think of something more universal. Like I was trying to think of like social media. Is it social media related?
I'm going to give you your next
Living-
edition of We're Not Really Strangers.
Yeah, give it to me. Give it to me.
We are not really communists. So,
Oh.
yes, 64%
I could
said
have guessed that.
that being a communist is the biggest turn off. Coming in second place was
Wait, so
having
being a communist is the biggest turnoff.
yes, for men.
So why are men saying on dating apps?
No,
that they're
not men. Women are saying that communism is a far left ideology that advocates for all wealth and property to be communally owned.
that they agree with?
What?
They're saying that
Am I-
men are having
Do
a
you
problem.
not understand
I
what I
don't, I
said?
don't understand
Men are
anything
having
you're
a
saying.
problem where too many women in the dating pool are communists.
Communists.
Okay, got
And
it.
that's their biggest red
Men
flag.
cannot fuck communists.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
You get
Men
that?
don't like communists. I understand
They don't
now.
want to fuck them.
Okay.
Okay?
I mean, can you imagine how
Imagine if you're a guy, like, what are you doing? Just fuck a communist.
That's, I think,
I don't know if
more.
I'd have sex with a communist.
I mean, imagine how many like pics on fucking
Like, I don't know
Tinder.
many guys I would say, like, hey, I'm not having sex tonight because she's a communist. Do you know?
I think times have changed.
I think
I think when we were younger,
are you communist?
I think when we were younger, we'd be like, we'll figure out on the third date if you're a communist or not. But I think now maybe
Because it
people
says
are
in
more
your-
openly politically.
Because it says on your social media or your
Because you probably have
dating
like
profile.
a free Palestine fucking protest
yeah.
as your display pic on Tinder.
And you're like, I'm not going to fuck her.
You're like, well, red flag.
Coming in second place was having no hobbies,
That's a big one.
followed by identifying as a MAGA Republican.
That's funny that that's third.
I mean, compared to how much you guys love Tucker, I'm
More than
shocked.
55% of women said identifying as a communist is a red flag. So 55% of women think communist is a bad sign.
So
So
everyone's a
basically,
communist out here. So there's just Marxists and communists running
being a
wild.
MAGA Republican was the biggest red flag, with 76% of women saying this was not a desirable trait.
So hold on. So you just said MAGA was 76%
for women.
For women.
for women.
But for men, it's third in line. They don't care that much.
So
As long as you have
basically,
a hobby.
offline, you could be MAGA as fuck.
Yeah.
It's just online.
So guys, if you're a MAGA Republican, just post
But what we're
what you
saying,
gotta post. And then once you're married, kids, you pull out your flag.
yeah, pull out your hat, pull out your flag. Yeah. I
Because
wonder, yeah.
I actually think this is why the population is declining.
How old are the two Michigan guys?
You're 20?
Can we,
Jesus
can we
Christ.
get
Go
them
to
a
the
mic?
mic.
Can we get them a mic?
Go to the mic.
All right, we have two. Are these interns or something?
No. They have a business we work with that goes. These guys are killing it.
Oh my God. Okay.
They're
So-
rich.
So you guys are 20.
Yep.
Yeah, talk to the mic.
Talk into it.
Oh yeah, we're 20.
And you go to Michigan or you went to Michigan?
We're juniors.
Okay. Let me just start easy. Does anything we just said resonate with you? About like, have you ran into a lot of girls that are super communists, MAGA?
Are you fucking
Yeah,
communist?
so at Michigan,
Yeah.
girls are all liberal.
Okay.
Like
you know, no-
very liberal? Like,
Pretty liberal. No matter what your stance, you got to tell them you're like, it's fine if you're fiscally conservative, but you got to be socially liberal.
Yeah.
You're obviously anti-abortion.
Well, we're in the same fraternity, right?
Okay.
What fraternity?
It's Fiji.
Okay. So the coach of University of Michigan. So anything is bigger than football, nothing, right?
Yeah.
They're about to play in the college football championship.
Yeah.
The coach, John Harbaugh, said, I'm anti-abortion, and if any of my players have kids, I will house them.
So he has
That's what he said.
He has a 73-bedroom house.
Are you kidding?
No, he's joking. But he
I thought this guy
made a
had some
claim
sort of weird
that said,
fucking farm,
he's so
We're doing an addition
anti-abortion
right now.
Am I saying anything untrue?
No, you're right on.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So,
But it's
to
okay,
tell us
okay,
about this,
okay.
are you guys in a college setting? Are you guys on dating apps or no?
I was.
You was.
What about you?
Not really. No.
You're not, because you're just seeing people all day.
Okay, I have one. Is it common? So you have a girlfriend, I take it? We don't want to talk about it. Okay.
No, he does. He
I do.
does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, and like, were you single in college for any amount of time?
Yeah, for a year. Yeah.
Great. Here's my question. Is it common when you're meeting girls or like going on first dates that politics comes up one way or another? Is that a common part of the conversation?
Not in my experience. No.
I somewhat, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Say someone, yeah. So explain.
So
Explain.
I'll give you.
So how
here.
no. Let him
tell
explain.
I want to say something because in our era,
It was
we had-
zero.
We had no
Never.
idea.
Never.
Never.
No idea what anyone's politics were. We didn't know who you voted for. We didn't know anything.
Yeah.
So that's I want to set the stage with that.
Really?
So
Yes.
can you give me like an example? You can even kind of, make it up so you don't.
Because
like,
Michigan's
out yourself,
kind of
but, like,
mixed.
If you like, give me an example of like you're on a date and like they ask or like how does it come up?
How does it come up?
So
Are you
in
just-
my experience, I'll tell you. In my experience, so I'll say I'm more right leaning
Yeah.
on the political spectrum, and that is not the like the socially
Predominant.
acceptable norm at Michigan. So
I like that.
I kind of just stay away from it in general.
Yeah.
If they ask me, I'll just kind of be like, hey, I don't really care. I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
you
that's
have to kind of lie a little.
Yeah, I mean, I don't give
Not
too much.
lie,
I don't
but you
really
have to,
care
like-
that much about
Yeah.
any of it, really. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of just go with that stance. Like, it doesn't really matter. But in reality, I'm a little more right leaning, and that's not
Yeah.
super. It's not super
you're-
popular
You're
over there.
20?
I'm 20. Yeah.
Okay.
What
So
about-
keep going. Hold on. Let's
What
hear
about
it.
you?
Let's
What
hear
about
it.
you? What about your?
You got to go to the mic.
Go closer.
You live in an age where the girls are on Instagram and they're posting stories every day, activism and trying to,
Yes.
promote all these different things.
So would you say that like 90% of girls that you might go on a date with, let it be pretty known where they stand? Like, are girls really outspoken about their political beliefs on social media these days?
On social media.
So you
But
kind of
on
know.
a date.
It
Probably not
depends
as
on
much.
it depends on the girl. Probably like it's a good mix, probably 50-50.
So I actually think
This is so interesting.
So-
we
so-
didn't care about this at all.
So I
when I
actually
was in my
think this
20s.
is like, if you think about like population increasing or decreasing in America,
Yeah.
and then you think about
We might be the new Zohan.
yes,
Yeah, I think we are.
I actually think and I think about like there's obviously a lot of people in Gen Z, millennial, that marriage is not important, then children are not important, and
Yeah.
you start adding all those things. If you at like 20 years old are having a discussion, I'm sure if I met someone at 20 years old and I saw political beliefs, I probably wouldn't have dated half the fucking people.
Yeah.
You just don't know how they feel.
But it also just wasn't even like something anyone
Cared about.
when I was in my 20s.
I don't
Like
think
that was
I don't think
George
I've
Bush?
ever, I'm not even joking, ever in my entire life had a discussion about politics with anyone I ever dated. Ever.
no, never.
Yeah,
Ever.
100%. Zero chance.
Zero
chance.
Never once.
Zero chance.
Which is so crazy.
And we're, 20 years older than you guys?
You're
Whoa,
I'm 23
whoa,
older than
Speak
them.
for yourself.
Your 18 years.
But I don't remember ever having a political conversation
No, there's
with anyone.
chance. No chance you would ever talk about anything
I
politics.
think my wife and I only started talking about politics 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
And yeah.
It's so interesting.
It's a very tough dynamic.
Has there ever been a time, can I ask you this question? Has there ever been a scenario where like you maybe really liked a girl, but you're like, this is going to be an issue?
Not personally, no.
But that is that a
do
reasonable?
you date like a woke person, right wing?
Let's say she's so hot and you're just like,
she's smoking hot.
whatever.
Like, I'm gonna have to say fucking Bernie.
I gotta wear a dress twice a year. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't really care that much about any of all that. So I don't know if that would come in the way, but
you think more so that that's a realistic scenario that could happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
there are people that care enough about it that would be
Men and women, or just
our age men and women that care enough about it.
So
that
you're in
opposing
Michigan, which is
political
kind of a
views.
split state. What's the conversation
So
in like your frat houses and all that stuff?
Michigan's a split state, but University of Michigan's not anywhere close to a split state.
What do you
Very
mean?
liberal.
it's very liberal.
It's very, very liberal.
He's saying the state of Michigan votes.
Yeah, the state
split,
of liberal, but
University
like,
of Michigan is very
setting.
liberal.
It's
Yeah,
not
I think
like,
most universities
for example,
are very
right now,
liberal.
the Israel,
Aren't you just rich
well,
New York guys?
no, we're from Michigan.
He's from
know.
Michigan.
No, but I'm saying,
But, hey,
mean the school.
University of Michigan is just rich New York people.
Families, yeah,
A current
kids.
example is
There's
the
a lot of those, yeah.
Palestine-Israel conflict, right?
Okay.
Like, it seems like the U.S. is pretty, probably leans towards Israel.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
for sure.
But University of Michigan, we have all these Palestinian parades and
Yeah.
going through the diag on your way to class, there's a ton of Palestinians, and it's just a very left-leaning campus.
It's
Yeah.
funny
For better or
how-
for worse, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't this really interesting? Or maybe there's something I'm missing, but like the left position became Palestine.
No, I
Yeah.
disagree with that 100%.
I don't.
Really?
So I think it's AOC, it's
Rashida Tlaib.
yeah, it's them.
But like all of the people at
But they're the face of the left.
No, they're the face of the woke left, which I completely disagree with.
okay, so do you agree with the statement the woke position has become Free Palestine?
I think so I actually had this conversation with someone. I think the woke left just looks for something to get angry about,
Yeah.
and they find it's flavor of the month.
Yeah. And they've adopted Free
They
Palestine.
adopted this for the month. And
Right.
then next month they're going to adopt another cause.
Right. But here's what's confusing to me is
Because I'm 100% pro-Israel.
yeah.
Like, no doubts about it.
Well, you've been letting your wokies down for a while now.
Yeah. That's fine.
But here's what I'm saying is I would say that Biden and the crew has tried to like kind of pander to the woke. Like they've tried to be in line with the woke. It's just really interesting that the U.S. government.
Not in Israel, though. Biden is not.
But that's what's
Biden's
interesting
not.
to me. Is
Biden's
that
been
like,
100% pro-Israel.
right. That division doesn't. I feel like everyone's been in lockstep about about everything
I think the
else.
thing with the youth is they just look for the next thing to get angry about.
Right.
And right now it's angry about, like,
But isn't it interesting that they are for the first time separating from the
establishment.
Biden narrative? There's no other issue, trans rights or any of these things that
Yeah.
are very big, super liberal things. But they are literally on the polar opposite sides. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
They've went rogue.
I think it's going to be a big topic for next year's election if the situation
But
is not.
Trump and Biden are both. Trump's like, get the fuck out of the country.
Yeah.
Little fucker.
I mean, Biden's been extremely pro-Israel.
Yeah.
Like, let's be very clear.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That then, like this group in the United States would be like, nah, fuck it. We're
Yeah.
over here.
Their voice won't be heard because I think people have made their choices. At least the powers that be have.
Anyway, look, I agree. But the thing that's fascinating to me is that like we just said, just to reiterate, my entire 20s, I never once had a conversation with a girl I was dating or in a relationship with about who the president was.
Politics.
Yeah. No
And the
chance.
That's
fact
so
that
intense.
it's a concern, it's something you have to worry about. or just think about is fucking wild.
It's so crazy. I don't think I've ever on a date had anything of a substance conversation. Anything. Ever.
Oh, like on an early date?
No, like
You mean ever?
ever.
Got it.
I just can't remember like a time where like
Well, yeah, when you talk about like what's
now
what
with
counts,
my kids, we're talking about like fucking picking up kids. That's like the most is like, are you going to take them to school Monday or not?
Yeah,
like that is the
I see what you're
severity
saying.
of conversation that I'm having on a
You're
daily
right.
basis.
Because what counts as substantive? Politics, the economy,
No.
wars. I'm saying, yeah, you don't talk about that on
who's fucking
dates.
taking Dominic to school tomorrow?
Yeah.
Who's picking up Miles? That's it.
It's just wild to think if you were 22 years old and you go on a date and you have to worry about where this person stands on Israel and fucking Palestine.
Oh,
That's crazy.
that is insane. And by the way, the problem with that situation is that like
No one's equipped with the information
Yes.
to actually have an opinion.
Yes, that's a problem. You're literally a moron at 22.
Yeah.
No offense, Jack and Joe. You're 20. You're even dumber. And so like, you don't even know. Like at 20 years old, I thought I knew everything and I didn't know anything.
And you know what's
you
funny
do-
is I didn't pretend to know this stuff.
No, but
It must be so annoying
no, but
to
if
be
you
dating.
go to like a good college like Michigan or all these Ivy Leagues,
Yeah.
like they went to the school because they're an intellectual elite. So you think you know everything.
That's the problem.
Yes, like I'm literally on text with someone from Penn right now for like a job interview, and I'm like dreading having the conversation with this person about anything because they're just like intellectually they think they're so superior
Yeah.
than like.
I totally get it. I get it. I just, fuck, man. Like, we're kids at Harvard.
So I think
talking about this shit
I
10 years
think we're
ago?
actually in a weird predicament because I know you went to SC recently to do like a talk
Yeah.
or whatever, and you were like, the kids are so smart, they're amazing. And I think kids today at these schools, because USC is now considered a good school.
Yeah.
It wasn't when we went,
Yeah.
but now it is,
Uh-huh.
that they have this empowerment that they know more than you do.
Yeah.
And I think we're now
The guys
in
are
this
shaking their
new
heads.
world, like these Michigan 20-year-old fucking guys. they think they know more than us. Is like, yeah,
No, but this is resonating with them. They're both over there shaking their heads like, yeah, it fucking sucks.
Yeah,
we know exactly what you're
all
talking
these
about.
schools
Yeah.
now. These kids, because of social media, podcasts, YouTube, they've consumed so much information that they think they're smarter than us.
Yeah.
It's like, guess what? You're not.
But you know what's weird about today's time is that also, like the Pizzagate people, think they're smarter than everyone too.
True.
and they're might be brain dead.
Or they might be closer to the truth. They've gotten it right. They've gotten it right a few more times recently.
I think we're in a weird place.
Yeah,
You have
everyone's
these
kind of
kids-
right.
Everyone's
Yeah, truth is always in the middle. But everyone
Truth's-
thinks they know exactly what the truth is.
because I know a 21-year-old USC, this guy Michigan, Stanford, Harvard thinks they're smarter than us, know way more than we do.
Yeah.
And
I would argue
let me tell you, you don't.
No, you don't. I would argue that young people probably are dumber than ever and more confident in their intelligence.
Confident, exactly.
Than ever.
That's a great way to put it.
What was interesting was if you remember, we had a friend of mine, Toby, on the podcast 2 to 3 years ago. And it was a very viral clip on TikTok where he said he used to be an analyst at a fund and he was doing technical analysis late one night, and the owner of the fund, who's a billionaire, comes and smacks his mouse and goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "I'm doing technical analysis." He's like, "What do you mean technical analysis?" He goes, "You know, if it's going up and to the right,
Oh, yeah.
it means it keeps going up and to the right."
Yeah.
And the reality is, life is that simple.
Yeah.
It's
Life
not
is that simple. Buy Bitcoin when I told you guys.
Yeah.
Jesus
Listen,
Christ.
You're
We
so
know,
sad. You
okay?
would've- Shut up.
Stop with your fucking victory laps. You were right.
Okay,
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
it's- Life's
Jesus,
not that
okay.
hard.
Drake's the biggest artist ever.
Yeah,
we
shut
get
up.
it.
Do you know how many times I've been right? Do you know how many people who can make money from this
If you had
podcast?
shorted Peloton, you could all been billionaires too.
Yeah, no, I agree. You shorted Peloton.
All right.
point.
Short
Let's do some-
Peloton, long Bitcoin. That would have been the great trade.
There you go. That's the spread. The
I think
group chat.
we're doing shout outs.
The group chat parlay.
Yeah. Let's do
okay,
some shout-outs.
that's it. shout out time. We went over.
All right. From Jacob C. Hey guys, I love the pod and all the different opinions you have to share with the listeners. I want to give a shout out to Sam Altman's mom. She was my dermatologist growing up in St. Louis, Missouri. Word of the wise to any OpenAI board member, be careful when messing with Sam because that lady knows how to use a scalpel.
That's incredible. That's actually the best shout out I've ever heard.
That's so good.
That is wild.
How's Sam Altman's skin? Good?
He looks great.
All right.
Is it good?
Yeah, he looks great.
He knows all the tricks.
All right. From Kevin Cola, can I get a shout out to my good friend Eric Zimfer for his birthday tomorrow, December 4th?
Happy birthday.
Oh, it's your birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, shit.
Why'd you ruin it? I was going to do it at the end.
Yes. Introduced Eric to group
I like
chat
that when you see December 4th, it just the little alarm
December
pops in your
4th.
head.
Drama. Jeff Toll, Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, thank you. Yes. The trifecta.
I introduced Eric to group chat at the start of COVID, and he's been an avid listener ever since. Also, shout out to him on getting a new job as well. Hope you guys can get Josh and Kyle Allen back on the pod this offseason. Thanks for all you guys do on group chat. Best podcast out there. Go Bills. All right, we can get
Shout
that.
out. Happy
we can
birthday.
make that happen.
Happy birthday, Eric.
All right, from Abby Johnston. Shout out to Alabama for making the playoffs. Roll Tide!
I love it. I think we have some Alabama listeners.
We do have Alabama. I'm all rolling Tide.
I love
Fuck
Nick
blue.
Saban, Pat McAfee. Let's go. Yo, they're sending you guys out. I'm telling you, I'm predicting right now. Alabama's putting Michigan out.
No way.
When's that?
We'll see January 1st.
We'll see January
January
1st.
1st?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
Nick Saban, Pat McAfee.
You're
They're
a
putting
1 point favorite?
I think we're 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's over.
Okay. All right.
And you just think just the Alabama Spears?
I
is
just
gonna-
think Nick Saban, he has the most expensive coaching staff of any collegiate team.
Yeah.
They're going to beat him. He has, how many weeks he has?
Well, one thing I learned about the OpenAI board is an expensive, fancy team doesn't always make the best decisions.
Fair. No, they weren't expensive.
Touche.
They weren't expensive. They had no incentive.
True. Good point.
All right.
That's it. Everyone
And
have a great
happy
week.
birthday, drama.
Thank
Happy
you so much.
birthday.
Thank you.
Big.
In a
December
few
4th.
hours.
Yep. I appreciate it.
What are you, 37?
That's it.
Wow.
You're getting
Really
old.
coming up there.
Just a young man.
Are you a young man at that point?
Yeah, just, girls are always
I can't
talking
believe I
politics.
met
Me
you
and the
when you were-
guys.
You
We're
were
always,
21 or 22 when I met you?
We met him at 22.
21.
2000. Well, we launched in 2009, probably 2008.
2008, yeah. Damn, 21.
Been a long run. We're still going.
Still going.
Crazy.
All right, everyone have a great week. Thanks for listening. And take
Happy
care.
birthday, drama.
And thank you. See you later.